On site, we are really digging the area which is the working area. The kiln was dismantled in the late 50s, and we're now looking at all the sheds and pit groups that would have come about as a result of over probably what would have been 200 years of potting. Because in the evaluation which AC Archaeology did, we found bits of manganese ware, which is a dark chocolate brown. We didn't know that Crossroads Pottery produced this type of ware, so the evaluation really proved that a bigger excavation had to take place to find out what was going on. We knew that the kiln was working in 1812, and then we found this wonderful pit group, which is bringing out pottery dated 1750 and possibly even earlier. In Salisbury Museum, you have two puzzle jugs, which are dated 1603, 1604. They have the initials WZ. This pottery is labelled as Wiltshire brownware, but I believe that it was produced by our kilns, and in particular maybe involved with a family called Zebedee, who were potting over at Crendell.
My name's Graham Zebedee, and my ancestors apparently have been in Crendell in Dorset, near Cranbourne, as far as we know, since parish records began. I think Penny Trace has been doing some research, and I think we're in about the early 1600s she's gone back to, and she tells me that my William Zebedee, who was the potter at Crendell, I think I'm about the fifth generation from him, more or less, and I just find the whole sort of pottery setup, with the history of all the potting just very, very interesting, because this is the first archaeological site I've been on, and it's something I've always wanted to do in life, and it's got a great significance for me, being, having relations connected with the potteries.
Leslie Haywood, who's honorary curator of Poole Pottery Museum, met one of my members. They were meeting for supper, and he talked to this chap about a film that had been sent to him by an old cinema from Derbyshire. And my friend looked at it and said, might be an idea if you showed it to Penny, because it was in an old tin, clearly a very old film that had Dorset potteries on it. So a meeting was set up, and as I now realise, perhaps we shouldn't have done it quite in this fashion, but we took the film out. We had a white sheet. We rolled it very carefully over the sheet, and I recognised the kiln itself from the old newspaper cutting, which was the same view. And Leslie Haywood at the time very kindly said, "Here you are, I donate it to the trust." I've done a little research on it, though it needs to be extensively researched. It was made by Charles Urban. It was known as Urban Aura. We were able to date it because my friend Len Sims, he's also known as Alfie Sims, because there were two Lens, I believe. I took it to show him, and he recognised himself on the film. And his sister, who was looking at the film at the same time, said, "That's Leonard," she said. "I know Leonard anywhere. He always turned up his long johns in that fashion," which was a wonderful identification.
They put the lumps on the floor, sanding floor, 500 or 600 weight, I expect, and then tread it out about that thick. Yes, and then roll it up several times and do it again. That's the same as a lady with a pastry. small little jugs were sixpence, and the biggest ones were about half a crown.